What's up, friends? Rob here, and I'm back with a brand new episode of our Spit and Fire podcast. And I got a superstar with us today, and I know he's going to spit some fire for us. His name is Waylon Artrip. Waylon, will you say hi to everybody just real quick?
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking us out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're so thankful that you're here today. And as always, just want to remind everybody to push the subscribe button below. It's going to keep you up to date with all the new interviews that we're going to have with Waylon and other top leaders and producers across the country. Give us a like, give us a share, make sure to comment and let us know if this has inspired you, if it's encouraged you, if it's put fresh wind in your sails, so to speak. And so, Waylon, what I like to do with everyone is just kind of flow organically and spontaneously. But before we do some of that, I just really want to dive in and see if you would share some of your bio, your story with us, kind of where you came from and where you've been, and then where you are today. Just give us that Sports Center highlight version, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, still a younger guy. I'm 25.
Okay.
But, to give you a little quick background of pre-insurance, and that's kind of the industry that I'm in. So pre-insurance, I was, grew up in kind of Columbus, Ohio. Had some things happen, moved to Southern Ohio, which is basically a microcosm for like Mississippi. It's funny how Southern Ohio people think that, it's like the deep South down there. It's really funny. So going from big city to that was a unique experience. Was blessed for that, and made it out of there, made it out of high school and all that fun stuff, and went through college and kind of was floating around, didn't know where I was headed, what I wanted to do. Ended up falling backwards into the insurance industry, thank God. And, the rest is history. So I started about 20, been doing it for 5 years now. And again, been blessed to work with and find some amazing people to kind of work with and kind of build with. And now I have the ability to run an agency of over 1,000 agents, contracted brokers, and the Medicare, the life space, and several other spaces, PNC now. So we're building, a lot of things out. And, it's been an amazing industry for me and all my friends and people that are around me. And again, for me, I feel that we're really just getting started, and I'm ready to just keep rocking and rolling with this thing, man. So help as many people as possible.
Sure. So real quickly, why the insurance industry? Was there an ad? Was there a friend?
Yep. You hit a nail on the head. It was a friend. It was a family friend, and did the old slow drip recruiting on me. And it's like, man, if you can make that kind of money and help that, that many people, and I don't have to keep going to school, because man, school was not my thing. I was in it, but I was looking for any way out that I could. And it just wasn't my thing. I come from a pretty blue collar family, and that probably had a lot to do with it. They wanted me to go to school, but man, again, get me out of here is basically the first thing I thought when I walked through the door every day. So, just slow drip on me, from a family friend. And eventually I was like, you know what, let's at least try it out. Let me get a license. Let me get going. Let's see what happens. So from there, it was like, what's next? And that was the first, opportunity I had in the business was actually a captive position. Built a lot of character there. It was 100% door-to-door cold calling, no leads, no lead lists, nothing. It was just get up, get to your neighborhood and start banging on doors. And that was a heck of an experience. Be honest, that first year I made more money selling fire sticks than I did selling insurance. But and I worked a lot. I was working 60, 70 hours a week selling. Just a hard way to go. But again, would not trade that experience for anything. It makes this part of the business, the brokerage space, and being able to buy leads and do the marketing and do these unique things, it makes it not easy, but it makes it easier when you compare it to that. So,
yeah. And it's interesting that you said that, because one of the things that I found when I interview leaders like yourself and those that have found success, whether it's an early age or a little bit later in life, is that a lot of them, from what I hear, and I'm just going to put it in my terminology, is they don't discount the journey. They don't discount the process. We live in and I'll use a Talladega Nights quote here, shake and bake culture that wants everything right away. They want the delight without the discipline, so to speak.
Yeah,
What was it
exactly.
about that journey and that process that really molded you and shaped you? Because you talked about having 1,000 agents today. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yes, sir.
But
It's a
what
little
was
bit,
part of that?
over
What did
that. Yep.
that do to you during those early days and in the process? How did that mold you and shape you?
Absolutely. So, and I guess again, this is all free flowing. It's not something that,
Sure.
it's just all off the cuff. I mean, one thing that a lot of people I think talk about often that you hear a lot is mentorship and finding a mentor and attaching yourself to someone and things like that. For me, and I mean this in no way whatsoever, I never had that ever. I didn't even have, to be just frank with everything, I didn't even have like a parent to look up to. Just a quick, and again, there's a lot of blessing and struggle and a lot of blessing and pain, especially early in life. It creates a person. You come out of that as someone very unique. Now, obviously, there's hardship, there's struggles there, of course, like that. You can't discount that, and I'm not. But I'm also saying that it may look really bad on paper. It may sound really bad coming out of someone's mouth, but there's a lot of blessing in getting through those bad things. And I say that to say my experience, we had, and just being very honest, when I was living in Columbus, the reason we moved down south, our house burnt down. I was living with my grandparents who were like my heroes. So if love them to death. The next 6 months later, my mother passed away, had a drug problem. She passes away. And my dad, very blue collar guy, truck driving family, right? Great guy, phenomenal guy. If it wasn't for his genetics and his gene makeup, I wouldn't be able to sell anything, but thank God for that.
Right.
And he's still, he's a great guy, but it's one of those things where we're friends, if that makes sense. We're buddies, me and my dad. It isn't like I'm gonna call my dad and get this figured out. It's like, hey man, what's going on? Let's watch some football and hang out.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying about not necessarily having that mentor presence in my life. But those things happening back to back to back, and there's a lot more things on top of that. I mean, even recently, that's kind of been the theme of my life in a good and a bad way. I've had a lot of struggle, but I've been, again, extremely blessed by God and whoever else has helped me. There's a million names I could list off, but to learn about myself, internalize a lot of those things, look inward. I'm really big on it's always on you. It always will be. It's not about what someone did, for you to struggle or for you to do good. Even it's you. It's your decisions, your habits put you where you're at now.
Right.
So just having those things happen, my mother passing away was really difficult. I was 12, and when you're 12, you don't know what's what, especially as a 12-year-old boy. It's like the craziest group of people in the world, 12-year-old boys.
Yeah.
So I was lost, and broken, but I pulled the pieces together, put everything together. And, again, I think I attribute any quote unquote success, or my version of success is finding someone and asking them where they want to go and helping them build a bridge to get there. That's what success is to me. That's what makes me feel the best. Over and above every single thing in the whole world. So I think the struggle that I experienced and those things, those quote unquote hardships, were the best thing that ever happened to me. Bro, as crazy as that probably sounds. So that's just
not crazy at all, man. That's spitting some fire, man. That's what I'm talking about. And obviously my persona is the Medicare Minister, and this is the Medicare YouTube channel. And as a person of faith, I used to say this all the time from the pulpit, is that I believe God. That's who I believe in. If you're watching and you believe in something different, that's cool. We can all get along and still be friends. But I believe that God does his best work in us through times of suffering. There's something about suffering and pain. We don't like it in this culture. It's it's a countercultural thought. It's counterintuitive. But the best seasons in my life have been the hardest season. I'm a victim of child abuse. My mom was married multiple times. We grew up dirt poor. My wife and I lost a child about 11 years ago. That's never a fun thing to go through. But I look back at all those events in my life, and no matter how painful they were, I was shaped and I was molded. You know what I mean? And so what you're saying right there, man, is truth, is gold. Let me ask you this, because I'm 46, I'll be 47. You make me feel old. You're 20. Lodi, who I interviewed not too long ago. You guys are young folks, but let me ask you something. Why do so many people in your generation, if you don't mind me asking it this way, why do they make excuses? Because I heard you say just a few minutes ago, no excuses. It's going to be, it's up to me. Why do you think so many people in my generation too, but obviously in your generation as well, make excuses? What is it about excuses? Is it just a get out of jail free card or?
I try to really be, there's like two things that I really focus on for like principles on what I speak about. And this, again, I've never been asked a question like that about like generationally speaking, as far as excuses, because you're definitely right. I try to be empathetic too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that goes into that. Like, I think part of it is like parenting in a good and a bad way. Like, I think my generation was actually parented really well. Like, if that makes sense, like there's a lot of really good parents.
Yeah.
But like, you could, like, I don't want to say you can be too good of a parent,
Right?
Because I don't have kids. I can't tell you how to be a good or a bad parent.
Yeah.
But like,
I get it.
feel like you can be too nice and too like giving and caring and like pour too much of that into where someone feels entitled. Because I think like entitlement and excuses go together, like
absolutely
cake and ice cream. Like, it's like the more entitled, the more that you feel that you deserve without earning it, the more excuses you'll come up for the reason that you didn't get it.
Yeah.
So like, I think entitlement has a lot to do with it. And like, just the idea that like people my age, a lot of times, again, not given everything they wanted, but like in America, we're just so lucky. Like, I just look around every single day and I'm just like, this is wild. Like the office that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
Like, in most countries, this would be like, it's unbelievable here, but we just take everything for granted. We take the car we get in for granted. We take the bed we sleep in for granted. We take the shoes we put on for we take it all for granted. We do. And I do every day. Then I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, to be great, to be grateful and thankful takes effort. And the less effort you put into that, just because things are going a million miles an hour for everybody, the more you lose track of that, and the more like areas you give yourself the ability to say, oh, that wasn't me. That was him, or that was her, or that was because of this situation or that situation. But at the end of the day, the more and more you have things good, bad, or otherwise happen, the more you realize the excuse does nothing but waste time. Like, and time is the only thing we don't know how to control yet, or at least we don't think. So, we don't get that back. It goes quicker every day. So, I mean, that's my thought. Like, I don't know, like, for sure the answer, like, why but I think that's part of it. Like, I just want to be empathetic too, though, because I think that there's different levels to it. I think the entitlement has grown as a result of like being given more stuff. I mean, there's just more stuff to give kids now. There's more resources. There's more. I mean, you can get on your cell. Like, we're at like the maturation of the internet. It's been out for 25 years now, and literally everybody has it all the time now. It used to be like these huge computers in a warehouse. Now kids and like 8-year-old kids are on their phones all day playing Roblox or video games or whatever. So just the sharing of information, it's just a little bit of a weird time. And, I think a lot of times too, which is kind of a weird situation, is like younger people get like a bad rap for making excuses.
Yeah.
But again, I think empathy goes a long way in being like understanding of that. Like, okay, like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that, and that's silly. But you can't be the old grumpy man that's like, that's stupid, you're dumb, get out of here. Like, you just, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that way? And again, I'm like the oldest man mindset of a 25-year-old ever, because I was raised by old people. And I just feel like a 70-year-old truck driver every day, which is a great and a terrible thing. I like make fun of myself all the time. But again, just still have to be empathetic towards those different situations and scenarios. So
no, I totally agree with you. And, as you were saying that, I never want to be that old guy, because I remember those old guys that used to come to me, and you're right. Empathy is a big part of it, because even in my generation, there was a lot of excuses, and, and this, but the day that we really grow up and mature is the day that we just take full responsibility for everything. Right. Yep. Where we're at in life today is a sum total of the choices, good and bad.
Absolutely.
Right? So I love what you're saying about that. But there was something in you, and you were talking about the way that you grew up and some of the suffering and some of the unfortunate events that happened in your life. So let me ask you this, and I know every time I interview someone, I always tell them we're just going to be spontaneous and flow with it. So let me ask you the best way that you can answer this. In light of everything that you've gone through and through your view and your context, what do you think makes a person successful?
How they view success. is what makes them successful. It isn't money, because I know people, and for me, what makes a person successful is, the first question you ask any person is, are you happy?
Yeah.
Do you feel good about what you're doing? Are you happy? Like, I know people that make, 10, $15 million a year that are genuinely not very happy.
Right.
I know people that make $40,000 doing the most weird thing you could ever imagine,
Right.
that are the happiest people on the planet, because they do what they want when they want, and they're just happy. I know people that have jobs, regular jobs. I would never do that, but they're 10 times happier than a lot of people that I know.
Yeah.
So for me, again, it's perspective. Perspective is happiness. It's an individual by individual thing.
Sure.
We're all very unique, but also very similar at the same time. And I think that, again, happiness is a core thing for me. But again, as far as success goes, quote unquote success, it has nothing to do about your bank account. It has nothing to do with what car you drive, nothing to do what kind of, living space you have. It really has to do with how you feel when you wake up, and how you feel moving throughout your day, and how involved and active and and just happy you are, and how you feel about what it is that you're doing, and your purpose. I think purpose has a big part in it as well, because a lot of people are roaming around trying to find that purpose. And once you find something that's just like this is the something, you're good. The rest of it will fall into place. So
with that said, just to kind of piggyback, because that's where I was going to go, question B or two here is, what is your why? Like, what is your purpose? What gets Waylon out of the bed in the morning?
Absolutely. And I mean this wholeheartedly and not conceitedly at all. Like, if I make over like 50 grand, I'm making more money than I ever thought I would actually make.
Sure.
I remember looking at jobs when I was 14, 15, 16 on the computer at school, doing like the job acumen tests. Like, man, that job pays $80,000 a year. Like, that's something I could live off of that. I'd be doing great. I'd get a car. I could eat. I'd be rolling. It's never about the money. My whole thing that gets me up in the morning is, I want to get, again, to reiterate, like, I just want to get as many people that I align with emotionally, and I can connect with, and I don't mind picking up the phone when I see their name come across. Like, I am excited to talk to them, and figuring out where they want to go, and trying to be that body bridge that gets them an inch closer. I'm not going to be the person that gets them there. They have to do that, but I want to be a bridge of some sort to help them get to where they want to go. That's my passion. My passion is people. I love people. And I really genuinely care about helping as many people as possible get to where they want to go. And where they want to go could be anything. It could be money related. It could be spiritually. And I'm not spiritual in a like a real sense. Like, I'm not the church going guy. Like, I'm not the guy to sit here and tell you I'm perfect, but it could be any area in life. It could be to be a better dad. If they're selling insurance with me and their big thing is like, I want time with my kids. Great. Let's do that. Let's do that. Because we get one of these lives that I know of. So let's figure that out. So that's my big passion. That's what gets me up. That's what keeps me up. Like, I think about my people's problems and what they need, and I want to be that person. I want to be that bridge to get them where they're going. So
yeah, it sounds like you're that compassionate servant leader, man. And I believe all leaders have to have compassion. I believe all leaders, want to serve others. Was that something you were just obviously born with to some degree, but do you think some of the unfortunate events that went through in your life helped mold and shape that? But what made you
I definitely
people so much?
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do. And I think, I just think it helped me learn about, like, just humanity and myself a lot. When bad things happen, the best thing that happens from it is you have to figure yourself out, because when the first bad thing happens, you're one person and you break and remold and grow. And another bad thing happens, you're a different person than you were last time. It isn't going to be the same healing process.
Sure.
So you're still rebuilding and all those different things. And one thing I will say, there's two people I got to give a ton of credit, and like, I don't know where I'd be without him, for the compassion and the love and all that. My best friend's mom, Susan Young, like, I lived with them a lot throughout high school, is a crazy back and forth thing. And she's like the saint basically. And then my grandmother, Dixie Artrip, she actually just passed away this last year. She was my hero. She was like half my size. Grandma basically was like my mom and my dad.
Right.
She had Alzheimer's, dementia, a severe case for 9 years. The type of person she was, she had it, and she was still driving me to school, and no one knew she had it because she wouldn't tell anybody. She had Alzheimer's for 4 years and was still taking me and dropping me off to middle school. That's the type of person she was. So there's definitely people that teach you lessons that you have to pay attention to. And I realize that they're the kind of people that I want to be and I aspire to be. So learning that compassion aspect from them was amazing. But also, like you said, that struggle and those things happening definitely 100% put me in a situation where I had a couple of different ways I could go. And I just wanted to choose, just be nice, just be nice and try to be a good person, like do the best you can, really. So,
and it just really sucks, man, that we don't have more people like that on this planet, right? That just don't know how to be kind and just to be real about it. We have so many people that got their PhD in being a douchebag. And kindness, right? When it needs to be reversed. So kudos to you, man, for being that compassionate and that kind person. And so let me ask you this: how does one go from that grind early on? You talked about working all those hours, not making much money. Why didn't you quit? Okay. And then what was it that was instilled in you, or what caused you not to quit now to get to the point to where you're at 1,000 agents or managing 1,000 agents?
Yeah. So, like I said, my first year, my 1099 was $13,247. My rent was $1,200 a month.
Wow.
And I was living on my own. I was driving a broken down Buick to neighborhoods, and I stopped driving that because I couldn't afford gas. So I was walking to the field with a briefcase.
Really?
And then I made probably double that selling fire sticks out of my apartment. So I would do that at night. I would do what I did, and then sell them on the Facebook Marketplace when they still let me do it. They won't let me do it anymore. But I made great money doing that. Right. And that covered the bills. The reason I didn't quit, man, to be honest, is honestly because I love the industry. I know it sounds weird. I just loved it. For whatever reason, I just loved the interaction. I loved feeling like the people, they wanted something. I was able to provide it. And I was also able to build a meaningful relationship with that person I was talking to. Right. So I love that. I'll never forget. I walked into UPS. I did the first interview, and I had broken down. Like I was, even mentally, I was in a bad place. No joke. I was rough. I mean, because I had exhausted every ounce of creativity, everything that I could possibly pour into it. I had tried and it didn't work, and it just so hard to keep hitting that wall. Right. So I went to UPS, did my first interview, left, and I was like, man, I guess I'm gonna have to do this. This sucks. Like, this is gonna suck. So went and did some research on brokerages. What's the quickest way to make the most amount of money? Because I was broke. Like credit cards were racked up. The one credit card that I had that I qualified for was bad. I had no cash. I had like $109. And went and found a brokerage and started selling final expense. And for the first 45 days, I was doing the same thing I did with the other stuff, door to door, no leads. And as you know, selling one of those policies is a little bit different than a 30% contract, because I was at a 30% with a 2% renewal and a 5-year vesting window.
Wow.
Went from that to, a little bit better, and sold a couple policies and made it work, man. So yeah, I mean, that's the biggest reason why. I don't think it was anything too crazy. I just legitimately loved what I did. And I knew, I was like, man, I'm pretty good. I'm not the best by any stretch, but I'm good enough. Like, I can sell this stuff. It's just, I need a better, I felt like I was like, maybe systematically I need to find something that I fit better. Like, I'm the wrong puzzle piece for this puzzle. Let me go find a new puzzle. So that's really where it was at.
And I love what you're saying, because I'm a firm believer in doing what you love and finding your passion. But I'm also a firm believer that sometimes we have to do things that we're not passionate about and that we don't love, and that those are stepping stones, if you will, to get us to that passionate place.
Absolutely.
Right? So you had to sell fire sticks. You had to do whatever else it took, because once again, you had that mentality. If it's going to be, it's going to be up to me.
Yep.
So how do you think you grew, though? I know you had some unfortunate events happen in your life, and that kind of gave you some fortitude and a resolve and a determination. But how does one go from that right, to managing 1,000 agents? When did you really realize that you had a gifting to really manage all those agents and empower people to be the best that they could be in this particular space? Or
Yeah,
any?
I think that's yeah. I think the trick is never realizing it. Once you realize that you're something, that's when you start thinking you're good. I'm not that good.
Man, that's good.
Like you don't realize that you're like it is what it is. You move forward, you have skills and other people have skills, and you leverage those skills and you lean on the people that are better than you at other stuff. You don't realize how good or bad or whatever. Like, I don't think LeBron James wakes up and realizes how great of a basketball player is. He
Sure.
wouldn't be rehabbing every day with his high ankle sprain and getting ready
Sure.
for the playoffs. Like he's always chasing something new, and that's how I am. The reason I grew is I genuinely, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I would get up at 5 o'clock, I would work out, and I would research, learn, or go in the field and see 8 to 10 people a day, 7 days a week for 2.5 straight years as an individual producer.
Wow.
I didn't do anything different. I neglected a lot of my friendships, a lot of my relationships. That's all I did. That's literally it. I learned as much as I humanly possibly could retain and then some, and put myself out on a limb and did different lines. I was going on appointments where I didn't even know what I was doing yet. I went on my first MedSep appointment. I had one carrier and didn't know what in the world I was doing. Like I wasn't lost, but I was like, well, the best way to figure this out is go sit in front of somebody, because I'm either going to look stupid or have to ask the right questions. So number one, I guess, to give it a couple points, one is become an expert the best you can. And when I say expert, I mean, I think, in my opinion, we see a lot of Facebook experts and stuff, and some people are absolutely amazing on there. But the big problem I see is people commenting on stuff because they want to comment on stuff. I think the secret of being an expert is comment on what you know about. Talk about what you know about, and don't talk about the other stuff. It's okay to not know. That's okay. It's okay to ask a question to somebody that does know.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
Dude, this business, there's something changing every day, every single day. Something's always going to change. No, there's not even a computer out there that knows everything about this business. But become an expert in your area and show people that you're an expert, and be honest. This industry is full of people that say one thing, do another.
Right.
And if you say you're going to do something and you're not able to follow through on it, be honest and empathetic with the person you said you would do it for, and tell the truth. Hey, I screwed up. My bad. We'll fix it.
Right.
Be honest. Any industry, you can have success if you become an expert. Be honest, be empathetic, be good to people, and show them that you're trying to get them where they want to go. Sure. If you do those things, the people that you need and want to build with will find you.
Yeah.
Building an insurance agency isn't about going out and running ads and finding people and talking on the phone all day. That's not how you do this, in the right way anyway. It's not for longevity. Sure. Longevity is finding the people that you connect with because you connect with them, whether that's like we're from the same hometown, or oh, you like the Browns, I love the Browns. Like, and some people you just feel like you're like souls connect in a weird way. It's like, man, I don't know. I don't even know why I like you. Like, I'm a big, tall, goofy blonde dude. And, you're a short black dude. Like, we don't look like friends, but we're best friends. I don't know what, something's weird here. Yeah. So it's like, you find the people that you connect with, be an expert, be a resource, be available. And I don't mean to be available from 8 to 5, be available from 6 to 11, be available from 6 to 3. Like, I'm available. Right. That's my best asset, is I'm available. I'm not better than nobody. I'm not better than anybody at this. I'm not. There's better salespeople. There's more informational people. There's better underwriters. There's better everything. However, there's not many more people that are more available more times than I'm going to be. Yeah. You can call me, text me, whatever. If you're working, I'll work with you. That's the only thing I require, work. Right. If you work, we'll work. Yeah. So that's it. I mean, like I said, that's it. There's not rocket science to it. It's not do this, do that, step 1, step 2. No. With the brokerage space, it's like the Wild West. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's always crap's happening, politics, BS, whatever. Just be nice to your people. Be honest with your people. Tell them what you know, because that's the big fear, is like, oh man, he knows what I know now. We're in trouble. No. Sure. Just believe in people. Just because they know something that you know now doesn't mean they're going to run behind your back. Just be good. Be good. Do the right thing. So
I love what you said, how early on, because so many so-called gurus or experts or leaders want to tell everybody what to do, but they've never been in the trenches themselves. They've never taken time to pick up the phone or door knock or whatever the case may be in whatever industry you're in. And so I believe true leaders not only show and tell.
Mhm.
There's a lot of leaders that will just tell, but they don't ever have any credibility to really show. They've never done anything. So I like that you took time early on and said, I'm going to get out there 7 days a week, do whatever is necessary, 2.5 years. And I'm just going to put the grind in and the hustle in. And would you say that's really caused you to be, helped you be a better leader?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I still write business today. I mean,
Okay.
I wrote 117,000 of final expense last year.
Nice.
Like 180,000 of med steps. Nothing impressive, but the reason I do it is simply to show, hey, I can still do this a little bit. You know, I'm not better than anybody, but I can still do it. And it keeps you kind of, you know, intact with what's going on. Things change, e-apps change, stuff like that. And you need to be able, if somebody calls you, hey man, writing ahead in the e-app, my browser's not working. Yeah, take it off of Explorer, go to Chrome.
Right.
Oh, I wouldn't know that if I haven't written one.
Right.
Right. So just little things like that do matter. And absolutely. I mean, actually doing, it's kind of funny when you know, one person I talked to in the industry was like, you know, everybody's like, do you build an agency? You know, because there's a big thing. You build an agency before you've sold, blah, blah, blah. You hear the give and take on it all the time. It's just like any business though. Would you want to work for somebody that's actually built the business or somebody that just kind of showed up there and was like, hey, come with me? Right. You know, you want to be somebody that knows what they're doing, of course. So,
yeah. And so you have 1,000 agents. You know, what does that look like in production? I mean, do you have numbers on production? You have about 1,000 agents. Is that across the country?
Yeah, so we're across the country. So on the final expense side, right now the run rate for across all carriers, the run rate for 2021 is right around like 27, 28 million. Med subs, we should eclipse like 11, 12 million. We have a couple LLA shops that do a ton out of there. I love med subs. That's like my bread and butter as a personal agent. I love it. Medicare Advantage, we're really gonna, you know, push that heavy this year too. So we'll see what the dust settles there. I don't want to speculate on that until you know, we get closer to AEP and everything. Of course, annuities, I'm hoping to do over 20 million this year, which will double from last year. We just trying to push on that, you know, which is, it's so funny, you know, going to some of these events and stuff, some of these huge groups doing billions, and it's like, yeah, we're doing 20 million.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, our bread and butter, our agency kind of, you know, what we focus on right now is mainly final expense, and we cross sell and do some things in different lines. So
yeah, no, that's powerful, man. I know that when some of these rooms, and I've been in some of those rooms you've been in, that, you know, you're kind of like, wow, you know. But I think there's a lot of people that will be watching this that go, wow, this 25-year-old kid from Ohio who has had some tragic events in her life, did not give up, did not make excuses. Man, he's inspiring me. He's putting fresh wind in my sails, so to speak. He's spitting fire, if you will, today, because it's inspiring me to go, well, if he can do it, then I can do it. And that's so cliche because we hear it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's true, because I think we give up on ourselves too quickly. You know what I mean? We give up on ourselves, and to hear stories like yours, it's inspiring me, man. I want to be better. I'm encouraged today listening to your story and having 1,000 agents across the country doing multi-million dollars in production. So I always ask this question every interview, but I'm going to shelve it just for a second. I want to ask this question first, and it will I'll piggyback off this. If there was one word that your people, your tribe, would use to describe you, what would that word be?
It would be one or the other.
Waylon.
That's the thing. I don't really know, but if I had to guess, I have some pretty funny dudes that work with me. So, and the running joke, I think, with all the people that work with me, it would probably be sleepless. I don't think anybody thinks I really sleep. Like, like that's the running joke. Everybody's like, oh, he's up. Don't even worry, but just text him, call him. He's awake. He's not sleeping. That or what I would hope, what I would love the word to be would be relentless.
Okay.
Selfishly, I like that word better, and it kind of means the same thing. But probably sleepless. I got some pretty funny dudes. So
the question that I always ask everyone that I interview is, I go, if there was one word to describe yourself, what would that be? Is that relentless? Would you describe yourself? Or is there another word that you would?
Man, that's some good questions. I don't ever think of stuff like this, to be honest, ever. I just never even crosses my head. I don't think about myself like on that level. Probably, yeah. I mean, I would like for it to be relentless. Probably, I just like the idea, and the whole aura that comes with the word relentless. Just never give up, kind of keep pushing forward regardless of what's going on around you, type of thing. But yeah, that's probably it.
So with the part B to that then would be, how has that helped you get to where you are today? How does relentless help you? How has the word relentless or that characteristic, that trait, helped you get to where you're at today? What can you give us some examples, or just tell us a little bit about that journey of being relentless?
Yeah, I mean, all the way from the original company I worked with, basically being one more interview at UPS, from failing out of insurance altogether, from selling more fire sticks to pay off my credit card balance so I could do my first 4 weeks of direct mail final expense leads, which was $4,000 before I got a lead.
Wow.
Cold door knocking for 45 days to be able to pay rent because I was 2 months behind. I was about to get evicted. My agency was built. I went negative almost 20 grand in my bank account to get it off the ground. Which I didn't even know you could go negative more than $1. I didn't know that existed.
You found that real quick. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, listen, you get on Reddit, you can find some crazy loopholes with banks and stuff. It's just why you can find some stuff out. I mean, and just saying the industry, on the industry side of things, the passing of my grandmother this past year was really difficult on me. I'll be very honest. I was a shell of myself as far as the business goes for, I would say probably 3 months. I mean, I was getting work done, but not even at 25% capacity. I was struggling. I was struggling. And that was just this last year. And I'm in a great place now. Thank God. Like it is so weird. It's almost like a light bulb came on, but I mean, legitimately it was struggling, but I think just the relentless, do things even if you don't really feel like doing them because they have to be done.
Yeah.
Eventually your mind will be like, all right, like this dude ain't going to let us win. So let's just be happy and keep moving forward. So that's kind of, where I'd say it's definitely helped me.
Yeah. And I've talked about this with several other guys and that we've interviewed, is that you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're relentless. So you're attracting a tribe of people that want to be relentless, right? And reproducing. You're discipling those that have similar traits and similar qualities. So what is the what is the ultimate goal? I know you talked about multi-million dollars, 1,000 agents. And I'll wrap up with like 2 or 3 last questions here, but what is the ultimate goal for your agency? Is that 10,000 agents, 3,000 agents? Is it $1 billion in production? I mean, what does the future look like, or what are you wanting it to look like for your agency?
And this probably sounds crazy, but I tell people this all the time. My goal's been met. It already has been met. So I stopped setting really goals. My only goal, I have one goal. That's it. And it'll be the goal for the rest of my life. And it'll be a glass ceiling and I'll never reach it. And that's fine. That's what a goal is. And if you create a bunch of goals, let me preface this. Goals are great. It can get people out of holes. It can get you where you want to go. Sure. But I also believe that goals can create limitations at the same time.
Sure.
Because you could overshoot, you could undershoot. There's never a perfect goal ever. No such thing. So you got to set a lot. My only goal is to find as many people that I can connect with and help them get to where they want to go. That's my only goal. I don't care if that's 100,000 agents. I don't care if I lose all my agents. I just want to help as many people as I can get to where they want to go, whether that's insurance, whether that's, being a better dad, whether that's being a better mother, whether that's being happier. If I can help, let me help. If I can't, we'll be friends. And I just want to find people I connect with. And I wasn't blessed with a family, really. They're all pretty much gone. Yeah. So my family is who I meet and connect with. So I'm building my spiritual family by the people that I'm able to touch. So if I can do that, if I can help you, great. That's my goal. That's my only goal.
Yeah. And it's so interesting that, the late Zig Ziglar said that we could get in life whatever we want if we help as many other people in life get what they want. And that's really what you're doing. I mean, you're a living example of that you're saying, I want to empower, disciple. I want to help people reach their goals. I want to help people grow. I want to help people be relentless, so to speak. And by doing that, it's helping me get to where I want to get in life. You're providing value for people. That's awesome. or obviously you wouldn't have 1,000 agents in your agency, right? There's something there.
I hope so.
Well, there's something there that's attracting people to you and to your agency and want to be part of your tribe, part of your crew. Let me finish with this. And thank you so much, man. You've really been spending part today, man. Thank you for being gracious with your time. I know you got a lot on your plate. But if there was some advice as we wrap this up, and just to be full transparency and clearly honest here, is this channel is going to reach multi niches, right? It's not only the insurance, primarily Medicare and insurance, final expense, things like that, because we're in that industry. I'm in that industry.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be interviewing leaders from all across different spaces. People from different arenas will be watching this. If there was some success advice, just some advice, what would that be to that person, that Waylon that's out there that's watching this now, that one who's about to give up, maybe that one that's been through some hardships, that one that's considering taking that first step in this journey? What kind of advice would you give them today?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of things, like this fluidly, focus on you, not selfishly. Don't make yourself selfish, but focus on you.
Yeah.
We've all got holes. We've all got problems. We've all got issues. Everybody's got BS. Everybody's got stuff. So focus on that stuff. Handle your issues, your problems head on.
Right.
Don't avoid them. Don't sneak around them. Don't sidestep them, because it's going to come back.
Right.
That's number one. So focus on shoring up those types of things. The above the shoulder stuff it cannot be overstated. It's so very important. To be mentally strong and focus and build, that mental fortitude, whatever that looks like for you. And the next thing, I mean, there's a couple of like applicable things that can be done. Like, I really truly believe in finding somebody that you think could be your mentor, because I believe in mentorship. I just really haven't had that, yet. I mean, I'm only 25. I'm not saying it's like I'll never have a mentor. I just haven't had it yet, but I believe in it. I've seen it work so many times. How can you not? Find somebody that it's like, that's where I want to be, or I want to know what they're doing. And like, go attach yourself to them, like be at their hip, like annoy them, like work for them for free. Say, hey, I want a job and you don't have to pay. Like, do whatever it takes to attach yourself to someone who's where you want to be. There's a ton of value in that. And I think from the learning perspective, I think you can really accelerate your path by doing something like that, without really costing you anything but a little bit of time. And again, I think just building those emotional intelligence skills, I think, is another thing that's really, really important. Again, looking inward, almost blaming yourself for everything. It's kind of the secret that I use. I'm literally just going to take the blame for everything for like 6 months. And it's weird, but like, it really did help me. Like, it was annoying because I was, but it makes you really unselfish. It's like, well, that was my fault. I'm sorry. Whoops. We'll fix it. And it makes you work harder. It makes you do things. It makes you less selfish. So yeah, I mean, outside of that, attaching yourself to the right people, the right group of people, and really just looking inward and listening to the things happening around you is a big one too. Just like, things happen, and you don't let it just happen and not take it into account. Like, think about it and be like, okay, this is pointing me in this direction. I like to believe there's a reason for everything. And if there's a reason for everything, there has to be a counteraction for that. So be very, very careful with your counteraction, because you're the one that controls that, you only. Yeah. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's some great advice. And I'll just say this, and you may not have had a professional mentor, but it sounds like your grandma mentored you a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So, that compassion, that empathy, you said earlier, she was your hero. So, a lot of times we don't think of it that way, but personally and professionally, mentors can help us in many ways, but mainly just sometimes give us that shortcut that we may need to get on that accelerated path. And so where can we find you? Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all those places?
Yeah. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, the whole nine. It's Waylon Artrip. So Waylon, last name's Artrip. Yeah. There's not a lot of guys named Waylon Artrip, so you should, it shouldn't be too hard to find me.
Sure.
So yeah, you can find me on all those platforms, TikTok as well, same thing. So
Sure.
I've got it all. Slowly, growing into some of those new ones. Like I said, I'm an old man, so it takes me a while to get on some of those new ones. But yeah, so you guys can follow me on there, and if anybody would like to reach out or needs anything at all, if I can help in any way, please feel free. I'm an open book. If I'll make time. I promise that.
Well, bro, you definitely brought it today, man. Once again, humbled. Thank you so much for being on with me. And
Thank you, man.
When this interview drops here in a couple of weeks, I know people are going to be encouraged. I know they're going to be inspired. Your story is inspiring to me. I love connecting with passionate people like yourself. And thanks once again, man, for being on. And
no, man, thank you. I really appreciate the time a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And for all those, make sure once again to subscribe, comment, like, share it, connect with Waylon on one of those social media platforms. And we pray that and hope that this has been encouraging to you and has put fresh wind in your sails. Make it an awesome day, and we'll talk to you guys soon.